Hello, everyone, and welcome to People of Interest. The show is based on stories from people like me and you. I'm your host, Miguel Guanipa, and today I have a very special guest. She's local of Northbridge, yes,
Yes.
and she's also an entrepreneur. She's a mother, a wife, and also she looks like a pretty strong lady. So we're gonna talk to her about her story. Her name is Kathleen Tonry.
You got
Kathleen,
it.
thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me, Miguel.
I'm looking at the nice blouse that you wear. It looks like
Yes.
the background.
Yeah.
I just.
I have nice Miguel's coat on.
So how are you? How are you today? You have a good day today?
I had a great day today. Yeah. Just went into the boutique and did a few merchandising things and
When did you get there? What time do you get there? When, to your boutique?
I get there around 9:30 to set up and get ready. We don't have that much to do. We do a lot of the cleaning and stuff at night and
Do you want to tell people just a little bit about the boutique, the name, and where
Sure.
it's located, so you can talk to
Sure.
the camera that's right
Oh,
there.
talk to the
Tell them
camera.
and
Okay.
say who you are, Kathleen Tonry. You have a boutique in town.
Yes. I have Catalina's Boutique, which is located on Route 122 in Northbridge, 1682 Providence Road. And that's also where my husband's business is, the Tent Connection. And we actually are celebrating our 5th anniversary this weekend.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
so
boutique.
the boutique, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. My husband's business, my father-in-law started in 1972, so they're a little bit older than us.
Yeah, he was here, Mr. Tonry.
Mr. Tonry,
Yes.
yes, great guy.
So.
Yeah, so just decided to open a boutique in the front section of the store. That's where they had a lot of storage area, and we just cleaned it up. And but actually, originally it started as Catalina's Boutique Bags, which I started. Actually, your wife inspired me.
Oh.
I was taking sewing lessons with Madonna Terlizzi, who owns Needle Arts Studios on Douglas Pike in Uxbridge, and I just loved making bags, and
So you're a pretty good sewer.
I have
Oh.
become a pretty good sewer. Yes.
Oh, so that's something I gotta remember that,
Yeah.
because maybe can
You-
talk to Christine
You might
about.
need some help.
Yeah, I might. So we didn't know that you knew that you were a sewer. Oh.
Yeah. So it was just a hobby, and then people were asking me to make some bags, and what my bags were different than your wife's bags in terms of I made beach bags out of my husband's vinyl tent material
Oh.
and lined them for iPads, and you could use them on boats because they were water resistant.
So do you want to you just let that go and went on the selling, the retail situation, or what happened?
Well, what happened was I had a party at my house. It was design your own bag, and I had a lot of different fabrics and a lot of different bags made up so people could choose their lining, choose the exterior fabric of the bag, or with the vinyl tent pieces, you could have a lobster or a crab or something sewn on. And so you could just pick it, and then the roping that they used for the boats were used as handles, so you could pick everything yourself,
Oh.
whatever you like. But I found out, and I give your wife a lot of credit, it is a lot of work.
Oh, okay.
And so it wasn't like being mass produced, it was individual bags made for each person, which was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. And so I was going to just open a little shop inside of my husband's building, and we went to my friend Twee, who works for both my husband and I. We went to a trade show out in Las Vegas, to the magic show, and when we got there, we were trying to find somebody who could help us mass produce the bags, and so we did find somebody, and actually it was the Massachusetts Association for the Blind, which was very interesting because they train people to on computerized sewing machines how to do all the sewing
Blind
for
people.
Yes,
Oh.
and that's right up my alley, being an occupational therapist.
Wow.
So we were just about to go through with that, and then the other side of the show was the apparel show. So I said, "Oh, Twee, come see," because I used to go to these shows all the time as a buyer. And so we said, "Well, if we're going to open a little shop with just bags, we need some." We just fell in love with all these things like skirts and pants and all and accessories, and it just ended up turning into a retail store instead of a
So
bag.
that one trip changed it, was
It
the
did.
pivotal
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was a lot of fun. So, and it's just been a lot of fun since.
So you wouldn't have time to pursue that on the side. Now you're pretty busy with the,
Yeah.
because I know like somebody who, I don't know them personally, but I know that some people, the people that produce something along the same lines, and they're pretty successful. So, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not making you feel bad.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I put it to bed. I'm good.
All right, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So and you were telling me earlier about the seeds of that when you were younger. How did that
Yes.
desire to pursue that
So,
begin to grow?
I don't know if they still do this in high school, but back in my day, we took the Myers-Briggs test, which is a personal interest test. And after you take the test, you get to see what type of career options best suit your personality, your drive, and your interests. So I ended up with a tie between fashion designer and occupational therapist. And of course, I didn't know what an occupational therapist is, as most people don't. And I actually participated in both careers.
So you took a test, the Myers-Briggs, and it pointed you towards both those fields, occupational therapy and fashion.
Well,
Kind of saying you could do both things and be something that you could lean towards.
yeah, it showed me that that's where my interests were lying.
And you didn't know what an occupational therapist was?
No, I was like, oh, that sounds like a lot of work.
How I wonder what was it that made it lean that way? Was it something about caring for people or something? Or?
Yeah. Well, when I was growing up, we lived in Northbridge, and at the age of 31, my father had brain cancer. So, he had to go through a lot, and our family went through a lot. And after he had surgery and a shunt put in, he had progressive dementia, mild, but it did become worse over the years. And I think with him having that, and then later on, I had moved to California and Nevada, and I had come back. When I came back, I could tell he just can't live on his own. He needed help. He was starting to have multiple strokes, and so I'd take him to his therapy. And in the therapy sessions, I was just like, oh, this is so cool. They're teaching people how to walk again. They're teaching people how to speak and to do activities of daily living. And I said, I think I really want to go back to school for this.
Oh.
So I went back to school, to Becker College, and studied occupational therapy, and then worked at Whittier Rehab Hospital for 17 years.
Wow.
And yeah, so I ended up becoming an occupational therapist, unbeknownst to me at the age of 17.
And that wasn't the Myers-Briggs thing.
Yeah. So it's
And
interesting.
now you're doing the fashion thing.
Now back to fashion, and well, so I went to Dean Junior College, got a degree in business administration, and then transferred to the University of Rhode Island and received a degree in textiles, fashion merchandising, and design. And another interesting point about that is that our senior year, we had to do a major senior final project, and we were asked to design a line of apparel, women's apparel, and you had to focus on a certain consumer group. And so at the time, I decided to design a line for people with disabilities. So it's just kind of ironic how everything has kind of rolled into both my interests were about helping people in therapy but also along the lines of occupational therapy has a lot to do with your activities of daily living.
Mm-hmm.
It's a form of therapy that helps people recuperate from either mental illness or physical change or illness through rehabilitation. So, being an occupational therapist, we teach a lot of people how to do things during their daily course of life.
Mm-hmm.
So, things like getting out of bed, getting into the shower, going to the bathroom, making breakfast, getting into a car and driving, whatever you do during the course of your day.
Mm.
And so getting dressed is one of the biggest things we help people with adaptive equipment. And so I always say it's funny that I've been getting people dressed for years because between designing and buying and working in stores where you're trying to find the right fit for people, to the hospital where, you know, you're trying to get people that have had strokes or heart attacks or have a lot of autoimmune diseases, whatever they come in for, how to get their strength back, how to put a pant leg over your foot and pull it up without falling, and all of that kind of thing. So really, I've spent a lot of time in bathrooms and people's bedrooms helping them get dressed, and now in the store.
So maybe the next career move will be something like an architect or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Making
Design-
bathrooms bigger, that would
design
be
spaces and
yeah,
things.
very helpful to a lot of occupational therapists.
It's amazing to me because I don't frequently see you. We don't, you know, we see you maybe, 3 times a year or something.
Right.
One of them is a shop small thing, and but I wouldn't have known any of this stuff that you've been through this journey and still on that journey. I mean, you're
Yeah.
only like 36, 37
Yeah.
years old, so you got,
Right.
I mean, so that's pretty amazing. That's really good.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, I've met so many nice people, and the store, the communities, has been overwhelmingly welcoming, and I'm so proud to be with a group of women like your wife and
Yeah.
a lot of the small business shop owners, and most of them are women, and we're trying to, you know, put another vibe into town
Yeah.
of commerce and
yeah.
shopping local, and so it's really been fun meeting other people that are on a similar path.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's a good thing. I mean, that's a great thing. I think you're a great part of that, and with all, I mean, not with this background and what you do. Speaking of that, is that something that have you ever thought about moving into closer to town?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people request that.
Yeah. Why? What you don't? It's like kind of you okay where you are. You don't want to, or just, I don't know, the opportunity hasn't arisen yet. Or what's the? Would you like to do it?
I
There might
don't
be
have.
people from town listening. So.
I know. Well, I love the whole history of Louis' Fashion being downtown, and
Yeah.
Irene's, the baby store, the children's store, I should say, and Baker's department store, and I love that history. That's what I grew up with, and it
Yeah.
was, and that's what we did. That was exciting to go downtown and to shop local, and that's really what people did.
Support the town. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just the way it was too.
You didn't answer my question yet.
I know. I'm trying to
You
dance
don't have
around
to
it a
a-
little bit. No,
You don't have to answer. Don't
no.
worry about it.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Right now, we're really comfortable, and I've put a lot of time and energy into.
And things
take-
are going well.
Things are
good.
going well, and it's
Yeah.
nice to be on Route 122. We
Yeah.
have a lot of traffic.
It's a lot of visibility there.
Yeah, so you
wouldn't
never
think
know.
so, but there is.
There is.
I
There's-
drive by it every day.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. People going to work and coming back, and it helps sticking the mannequin out there, and people still trying to figure out, you know, what we are, who we are, and some people think we're consignment, and I love consignment stores, but it's hard to get the word out that unless people come in and see what we actually have. 'cause
Yeah.
we shop internationally, so.
Well, let's talk a little bit about you.
Oh, me. I'm not that interesting.
Come on. I don't know why everybody. Look at. It's already very interesting, so you can't. Nobody's allowed to say that.
Okay.
So tell me about that. You grew up now. When I look at you,
Hmm.
I see uh, determination,
Hmm.
and I see a strength, even in your countenance and the way that your poise.
Hmm.
Is that how you see yourself, or
I am very determined, yes.
yeah,
Maybe a little stubborn.
a little bit?
No, just, well, a little Irish stubbornness, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely say I almost hyper focus on something if it's a goal,
Hmm.
and I try to see things through. I mean, when we first opened, I met with a consultant, and he was just shaking his head. He's like, "It's never gonna happen. You're
Huh.
never gonna last. This isn't gonna work."
Wow.
Um, yeah, and I was a little flabbergasted
Great
when I left.
encouragement, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he meant it in a
Yeah, yeah,
negative way. He was just trying to be realistic
yeah.
and actually trying to look out for me. But um, but if the I always think whenever there's a problem, you fix it. So if there I'm somebody that has a lot of initiative, so I'm not the most organized person, but I have
Yeah,
a lot of initiative.
yeah.
And, I think his thinking was kind of a little in the past because people relied on newspapers and
Mm.
in today's world is social media.
Yeah.
So I do spend a lot of money on social media, and I do try to involve the community because I think it's a great thing to do, number one. And number two, it's women are beautiful everywhere, and it's nice to feel
Mm.
beautiful. So I have a lot of our customers come in and model for us, and it's a very feel good, um, happy type of experience.
Did it take determination for you to show up today here? How much determination did that take? Did you have to kind of like?
Yeah, I think it's very nice that you asked.
Oh, I'm the one who's thankful. But go
Oh,
ahead. No, thank you.
yeah. I think, yeah, I'm definitely a determined person, and to come here tonight, I think it was just very nice.
Oh, okay. I hope you have a good time.
Yeah.
Let's let's see. So, when you tell me about when you were growing up a little bit, sisters, brothers. How many?
Okay.
How is the family? How big is the family?
Our family is small.
Yeah.
My
I
mom.
ask you. Let me ask you. The reason why I ask you that is because that's on in the front of what I said earlier. Because I want to kind of find out where do you think that came from?
The
That,
determination.
determination.
Oh, definitely
So
more.
that I'm guessing it probably. If you tell me a little bit about
Yeah.
your family, that might surface. So.
Yeah. My mom, my dad, and my sister. My sister's a marathon runner. She's been doing this for a while now, and she's trained very hard, and she's excellent.
Every year she runs
Yes, she
the
does.
Boston Marathon.
She runs multiple marathons.
Multiple now. Okay.
Yes. So she's also very determined.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how she does
This
it.
is your
but
younger or older sister?
younger.
Younger sister.
We're
Okay.
only
All right.
13 months apart.
Okay.
And my mom, had to figure things out when my father got sick because he was immediately disabled.
Mm.
And she was a nurse, and she put herself through school. And, when it came to making things work, she makes it work. And
Mm.
she went back to school to get her master's degree, and she became a nurse consultant of nephrology, and she's incredibly intelligent and very determined.
Mm.
So when it came time for college, there was no question. Wasn't, you're going to college, that is it. And we knew that all along. So it was just kind of a predetermined schedule of what things were going to happen.
Yeah.
So in terms of determination, she's
So you only have one sister, or
I
do
have
you have
one
any
s-
brothers? Or?
no.
Oh, so it's only two of you.
Yeah, there's two of us.
Ah.
Yeah. But my mom comes from a big family. My father doesn't come from a very big family, but our family's very close.
Mm-hmm.
My father's family's all over in Holland, in Amsterdam, and different areas. We get to see them almost once every 2 years, so that's nice. But my father grew up very poor, and him and his brother came out and worked very hard.
From Holland.
He ended up marrying a girl from Holland.
Oh,
and
he
then,
married a girl from
yeah, and so I have a lot of cousins over there, and they're all great. They're all strong people, too.
Wait a minute, your father married a woman from Holland?
No,
I can-
I'm
my
sorry,
head.
I know. No, my father's brother married.
Your father's brother.
Yeah,
Okay,
my
okay.
Aunt Alice and my Uncle
Right.
Stevie. Yeah, so we're all pretty strong, determined people, I guess.
How was your dad? What kind of a personality do you have?
So my father passed at 54. He from multiple strokes, and he ended up developing Alzheimer's. He was a machinist for a long time, and he was going to school for computer science, and then he had the brain tumor. So he had a very short, tough life.
So a little bit of a sad time
Yeah.
in your family?
Yeah.
Mm.
But it was nice because when I lived out, well, I should just back up a little bit. I graduated college, and I worked actually as an assistant to a dye chemist in a mill. And that was, to me, it was awesome. I loved it. But I had just finished school, and I just wanted to drive cross country. So I drove cross country, and with
Why
a friend.
does every kid want to do that?
I don't know, but it's really fun, and I definitely advise it.
Anyway, go
But be
ahead.
careful.
Okay.
And so we ended up in Lake Tahoe, and we were gambling for the first time. We've ever been in a casino before, and
Lake Tahoe is what, Vegas or something?
no, it's north of Vegas. It's
North
about
of
8
Vegas.
hours
Oh, okay.
north.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's right on the Nevada,
8
California, line. And so we blew all our money at the casino because we just thought, we'll win it back.
You didn't say anything for gas?
We had nothing, so we had to go get jobs the next day.
Oh.
And I ended up working as a cocktail waitress. My friend had worked as a restaurant
The
waitress.
next day?
The next day. And
Wow.
yeah, that was a lot of fun working for the casino. And then went to school to learn how to deal blackjack, and did that for a couple of years. And
Oh, my
then I said,
goodness.
okay, I need to really utilize my education. So I contacted.
That sounds like so much fun, though.
It was
Oh,
so
yeah.
much fun. Oh, we worked at the ski resort, Heaven Lake Ski Resort, and
Yeah.
everybody works there because you want a free ski pass.
That's in that same place?
Yeah, in Lake
Oh, okay.
Tahoe. It's
Oh,
beautiful there.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
up in the mountains. We lived at the top of the mountain, so getting down the mountain was crazy. You had to put chains on your tires.
Yeah.
And
Well, why did you stop doing that? That sounded like.
oh, I don't know. I think that having too much fun, I was
Too
getting
much fun?
guilty, feeling guilty.
Oh, come on. Was
I
it
don't
not
know.
new anymore? Like, oh, too much fun. I gotta
Yeah.
do something where I have less fun.
Yeah, made a lot of good friends out there.
Oh, wow.
So then I contacted one of my friends that graduated URI, which was difficult because we didn't have Facebook back then.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to find a telephone number to their parents' house and try to contact the parents and then try to figure out where they were. So my friend was down in San Diego, and she said, hey, I'm working for this International Mail. It's a big catalog company, and it had 3 retail stores. And she's like, they have 2 positions open. Come on down and interview. So flew down. My interview that I had with the store manager and the retail director was mostly about how to play blackjack. And what are the odds, or what should you do if it's, so I could tell it was a company that I would really like to work for because they were very fun, you know.
That's good.
And so moved down there and worked for International Mail for a few years, and then had flown back home to see how my dad was doing. And he wasn't doing well, so I said, okay, I need to move back home. Moved back home and helped him out, and then he was having the stroke, so we went to the therapy, and that's what brought me into the occupational therapy. That's a long answer, isn't it?
No, that's a great answer. But the occupational therapy wasn't like playing blackjack, though, was it?
No,
No,
no. But I have to
but
say, I
it's
did love it.
still rewarding.
It is very rewarding, and the people I worked with are the best. We have a sisterhood, because you have to work in a team
Mm-hmm.
of, physical therapists, speech therapists, nutritionists, doctors, nurses, CNAs, and and that's just for one patient, and we'd all have like 6 to 8 patients. So you really got to rely on each other to try to achieve the goals, and you're very invested, and you only have a certain amount of time to try to get people to the highest level of functioning you can get them to.
Mm-hmm.
So we all worked really hard. It's definitely a busy profession that you have to be very dedicated to, because I don't think it's for everyone. And the people I worked with were the bomb. Unselfish, very motivated, very reliable, and loving, caring people.
So, were there any jobs that you were not fun?
Right?
And you go, I can't do this anymore. It's too much fun.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know. I have definitely changed a lot. But hey, life is short,
Yeah, but that's very nice. That you, it's very fortunate.
Yeah,
You had
yeah,
jobs that a lot of, you had fun and a lot of fun.
yeah,
Very rewarding.
yeah.
So
You got to
that's a
make it
great
fun,
thing.
too.
You got to make it fun.
Yeah,
All right.
you got to make it fun, too.
Well, that's good. Explain that to me then. That's
Okay.
I think there's something important there.
Well, I think it's your perspective on things, on life. I don't know. I see life as a big vacation, in a way. I do.
That's great.
Because it's your choice.
Yeah.
And if you set yourself up right and you do your homework, and you can do anything you want to do, or be anybody you want to be. And it's really up to you. So all those young entrepreneurs or older entrepreneurs, if there's something you really want to do, then do it. And I know it sounds easy to say that, and because you got factors of money and time, and how do I just quit my job and start this? Well, I've worked 2 or 3 jobs at a time, and you just keep pushing till you get to where you want to be. And I think you can make everything fun in terms of, it is work, yeah, but you need to have a good work ethic, I think, too, because it's not going to work if you don't. And being determined definitely helps. But like, I love being social, so I love people coming into the store, and it has really just brightened my whole life in terms of, I've met so many nice people, and I've become friendly with them, and I know now they bring their kids in sometimes, or I know of things that happen that are good and bad, but we've created such a great bond with a lot of people, and I love that. And I have to say, I love shopping, and I like buying, and I like the business part of it too. But I think you can make a lot of things fun if you don't. What do they say? Being appreciative is the key to happiness.
Gratitude.
Gratitude, absolutely. So if you wake up and you think about all the things that are going right, and all the things that are good, and that you're blessed with, because life will change, and so appreciate it today, right? And and it's a choice. You can be miserable, or you can be happy, and not that happy is so easy for a lot of people. So it's just focusing on the good, I guess. There's a lot of good.
There's always something good.
There's always something good out
Yeah.
there. Absolutely.
Huh.
Family, your life choice, you're going on vacation, things to look forward to, a birthday, whatever, there's a lot of good things. So.
Have you always been had that outlook in life?
No.
Or so was there a time in your life when, I mean, it doesn't have to be a time, but I wonder if you did have a time where you could pinpoint and say, this was the time when I switched that. Is there such a time in your life?
Yeah, actually, I think our family is pretty, Resilient, I guess, is a good word. Like something can happen and you can get mad and you can hold a grudge and you can, you know, take it on with you if you want. But it's funny, like if my family fights or whatever, like just a couple days will go by and it's no big deal. You know, it just kind of falls off. I definitely have struggled with forgiveness and you know, it sometimes, because I'm sensitive. But it's, yeah, I've learned that, yeah, you gotta, what do they say? Change the channel, you know? You can either focus on that and you can be miserable, or you can look at the other side. And, so, yeah, I guess,
But there
I'm
was
trying to think of an event that happened, but
but there was a time when you were younger, maybe that you didn't always have that outlook, or
I think actually starting to go through menopause, you get very,
that's not younger, that's older.
yeah, I know, but I think you get a little edgy and you
Yeah.
get, you can't handle things as well. And so
Yeah.
going through that, I think, and you're very super sensitive and, but then I decided I don't really want to be like that, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a choice, you know, like, I just want to, be happy, wake up and be happy.
So it's a choice, and also, so I heard somebody said one time, not to be a victim of your circumstances.
Yeah, because we're all in circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's all how you perceive it. And you got to look for that silver lining. And I'm not always like this, but, you know, that's something that is definitely a goal to try to look at the good stuff and, you know, find the good in the bad, you know.
So you have children too?
I do.
I know one, I think I seen one.
Yeah, I have
So-
two. My oldest son, Ryan, he's at the University of New Hampshire, and he's studying civil engineering, and we're very proud of him. And my youngest son is a senior at BVT, which I love BVT. And he is in the drafting department, and he's looking to major in physics. And he's a STEM kind of student, and so he's
What's that?
science technology. I'm going to get it wrong.
Oh, it's an acronym thing for.
Yes.
Okay.
So he
Engineering. And,
yeah, math, engineering
okay.
and math. I think that's
Wow.
what it's. Yeah. So yeah, we are working on getting him into college for next year, and yeah, things are going well. And I always say to myself, you know, that's when you have to realize life is good, because you know, there's all sorts of problems that can happen with kids, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And as my father-in-law told me, you'll never stop worrying about your kids. Doesn't matter what age they are. So you just, when your kids are happy, your life is a lot better, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, and then my husband and I just went out for our 23rd wedding anniversary on Saturday.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
23 years.
23
They
years.
say that the first 25 are the hardest.
Yeah. Oh, so we only then it's easier.
We have two left.
Yeah. Yeah. So all is good. So far, so good. Where's the wood? Yeah.
Is your husband, not your husband, I met your husband,
Yes.
and actually he was sitting over here when Mr. Tonry, when I was interviewing Mr. Tonry.
Yeah.
And I briefly had spoken to him before, so I never really, and he struck me also as a guy that was like,
Oh, yes.
so.
Yeah. He's very focused. He has really like an engineering mind. He's a math whiz. He's very good with problem solving and.
Wow.
Yeah.
The math runs in the family then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh.
Not my side.
Yeah.
His
So-
side. Yeah.
So how does that work in terms of at home whenever you know, you walk into the day and here's two super firm, determined individuals,
Yeah.
and somebody leaves a glass of milk outside or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think we all can relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we all try to have jobs in the house,
Yeah.
and Yeah, I end up having a lot of them myself, but
Yeah.
but it's probably because I have to have things the way I have to have them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, um,
Tell
yeah.
me about a time in your life now. Make it. Wow, time is flying.
Oh, yeah.
Might get a little sad, but if you, I mean, we don't have to get all sad, but it's something want to look at it as a good challenge in your life that you
Hmm.
had and what it taught you, how it shaped you.
A good challenge in my
Yes,
life. Let's see.
or something that happened that was you had to deal with. It was tough to deal with, but in the end, you came through, and you came through as a different, better person.
Well, a lot of it. Well, I guess one example is when we when I did move out to Lake Tahoe, and my roommate, she wanted to go back home and be with her family, so I
Mm-hmm.
was on my own, and so I had to learn to be very self-reliant.
Hmm.
But I wasn't really good with money, and so I always had a place to live, and I had a job, and always had a job. But I didn't prioritize things as a responsible adult would
Mm-hmm.
back in when I was 21, 22. And I've been you know in a place where I had a job, but I was poor, and even hungry sometimes, but not
Mm.
homeless, or not anything to compare to other people.
Mm-hmm.
But just going through something like that, I had to get my priorities straight, and now it's put me in a better position of where you really can't rely on anybody but yourself at the end of the day. You
Mm-hmm.
can, but ultimately it's up to you to
Hmm.
you know get your stuff done, and be responsible, and be respectful, and be
Get your own act together.
get your act together.
Mm. Yeah.
If you want to, have a roof over your head. And so being irresponsible in my, younger 20s has now taught me to, there's a priority of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, not just how money's spent, but, to remember things, and I'm trying to be on time, and I'm trying to respect other people's
Mm-hmm.
time, and we're always all working on different things,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it helps you to relate to a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and also working in San Diego. With International Mail, I worked with a very big gay community,
Mm-hmm.
and at that time it was the late 80s, and a lot of my friends had died from AIDS.
Mm.
And so one thing I definitely wanted to say is that I hope everybody can learn a way to accept everyone. We're all different. God all created us differently,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants us to love one another, and to be acceptive of the LGBT community,
Mm-hmm.
and to not see differences, to just accept each
Treat people
other.
like human beings, no matter
Yes,
what. Yeah.
with respect.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but during the course of our lives, we've learned a lot of things, but that's
Yeah.
still a big thing that people really need to, and race and culture and preferences. So,
Mm.
I pray that everyone finds a way to accept one another.
Yeah. It's uh, it's part of becoming an adult.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And you need to educate yourself,
Yeah.
or be educated to find a way to love each other.
Man, we get heavy so
I
quickly.
know. Sorry.
You like stories?
Stories?
Yeah. You like funny stories?
I love funny stories.
Oh, well, tell me one.
Oh gosh. Oh, my life.
uh, I heard one today.
You did?
It was a joke. I was listening to Buddy Hackett interview, and then he had a joke that he began when he began his career. This is a joke that he always told, and he said,
Okay.
there's this soldier in the army, and so he's working in the office of supplies, and so he gets this phone call. He picks up the phone call, And oh well, it starts with apparently there was a, a, a colonel that everybody referred to as Fat Ass Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyway, he's in the office, the supplies office, and he gets a phone call, and he hears the person on the other side says, "Private, how many pieces of equipment do we have in your office right now? Driving equipment?" And say, "Well, we have like 20 Humvees and maybe 3 tanks, and we also have a Fat Ass Johnson's Jeep." He says, "Soldier, do you have any idea who you're speaking with?"
Oh.
And he said, "No." He says, "This is Colonel Johnson you're speaking with." And so the guy says, the soldier says, "Do you have any idea who you're speaking with?" And the colonel says, "No." "Okay, bye-bye, fat ass." Anyway, I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, you like jokes, huh?
I love jokes. So we're getting, time has flown by.
Oh, yeah, huh?
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask you one last question that I usually ask is, let's say there was a rocket that was leaving the Earth and never to come back. So you were given the option to take a few things with you before you went to the rocket. What would you take with you?
Well, that's kind of easy in terms of I would take my sons and my husband and my mother and my sister and my nephew and my relatives.
That's a lot of seats.
Is that too many?
No, it's okay.
And especially my dog and
Yeah.
the cat. So definitely family first. That's a big thing. Material things is nothing really I couldn't leave behind.
Just the family.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. I mean, came into the world with nothing. You leave the world,
Wow.
you know, with
We
nothing.
should have another hour to talk.
Yeah.
Kathleen, thank you very
Yes.
much.
Thank you, Miguel, for having me.
Thank you for.
Appreciate it.
We got time. I see the other gentleman that's coming into his show, so we have to leave. I
Okay.
appreciate. I want to give you something. I'm giving little things away.
Oh,
But let me ask you something. You a coffee drinker?
I'm not.
Are you a tea drinker?
I'm a tea drinker.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, good.
Well,
I
if you
love
drink
tea.
tea,
Thank you. That's so sweet.
no
Thank you.
problem. And
Appreciate
thank you
it.
very much for
Oh,
joining me.
thanks for
It was a
having me.
pleasure for me. I hope you enjoyed it too.
Absolutely.
And thanks everyone for
Thank you.
watching. And we'll see you next time when the next person comes over and tells their story.